Hey man, when you were only making $50,000 a year, how did you manage to afford a $20,000 first class flight? Easy. Credit cards. Right, loading up on credit card debt. No. Using credit card points and miles to fly for free. And more specifically, folks, climbing the credit card ladder. Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. For our new viewers just joining, hello, how's it going? My name is John of John's Finance Tips. In today's video, I am teaching you exactly how you can climb that credit card ladder. So maybe one day you could be sitting at 30,000 feet in a $20,000 first class seat paying less than $57. However, if that's not your cup of tea, that's totally fine because this guide isn't limited to luxury travel. In fact, if you are just starting on your credit card journey, looking for your first card, or you're looking to rebuild credit and start over again, or if you might have had 2 or 3 cards and you don't know where to go next, this guide is the perfect guide for you as well. In this video, you're gonna get the ins and outs of the credit card game from somebody, this guy, who's been in the game for the past 10 years. I've had over 50 credit cards, I've accumulated well over 4 million miles and points, and I'll be able to lay out the case for you on exactly how to go from your very first secured credit card to maybe potentially landing something like the American Express Centurion card. So if that sounds like a plan, then sit back, pop a squat, let's go ahead and dive right in. In a quick note, this guide is gonna talk about the hows of climbing a credit card ladder. First tier, second tier, third card. But let's quickly address why you wanna climb the ladder. First reason, building credit. If you have no credit, folks, that is such a detriment to you because that could end up costing you tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in unnecessary interest payments. If you think about it from a mortgage perspective, instead of pulling, let's say, a 4 or 5% rate, you might be pulling 7, 8, 9%. That is gonna cost you big time. And credit cards are one of the easiest ways to build credit. Point number 2. Saving money. Using a credit card is kind of just like an automatic discount. You can automatically get 2% discounts, 3% discounts, even 4% discounts on very common spend categories. For example, grocery, gas, dining, travel. If that presents itself, why wouldn't you take that? The third reason, and the reason that I personally really wanted to climb up this ladder, was for premium travel. See, when you get your first cards, not so much bells and whistles. You get your beginner cards, a little bit more, and as you scale up, there's some incredible value packed in the top tier cards. If we're just starting here, we're not gonna go there right off the bat. It's gonna be a stepwise function. However, in this video, that's exactly what we're gonna do. Let's go in and dive into every individual step. So the credit card ladder has 5 tiers. First, the base tier, followed by the beginner tier, followed by the mid tier, followed by the premium tier, and then followed by the ultra premium tier. So for each tier, we're going to talk about the credit score required, what type of cards actually make up this tier, the time length you should expect to be here, the ultimate objective that you need to reach in order to level up, and of course, I'll round it out with some example cards. So the first tier we gotta talk about is the base tier. The credit score required here is none, because quite literally anyone can get approved for one of these cards. The type of cards that you're gonna see at the base tier are largely going to be secured cards or student cards. These type of cards are aimed specifically at people who really have no credit history. So a secured card is basically a card in which you're actually going to put down some sort of, think of it as a security deposit, but the amount that you put in is the credit limit given to you. And you're probably thinking, how am I gonna get anywhere with a $300 credit limit? Great question, you're not. The point of a secured card is to show creditors that you are responsible and you know how to manage a credit card and revolving credit. The other side of it are the student cards, and these are gonna be targeted towards college students. Now, unlike secured cards, they don't require a security deposit, but they're gonna have a very low limit as well because similar to secured cards, you're learning and you're building at this stage. And at the base level, to figure out whether or not a card is okay or acceptable, make sure that you are not paying an annual fee for either the secured card or a student card. So, objective. What do you need to do in order to go to the next level? The most important thing here is learning how to use your credit. We're not gonna get caught up in the best ever secured card or the best ever student card because these cards aren't meant to be used for forever. They're just getting you started. So here, learning how exactly does credit work? How exactly does my statement cycle work? When should I be paying my credit cards? And do I understand the fact that a credit card is a short-term unsecured loan, therefore I'm just borrowing money and I need to pay it back? Am I paying back in full? All of those things, these are kind of like muscle memories that at this level, you really want to get into habit of because when we tier up and we get into credit cards with bells and whistles, you don't want to miss out on the fundamental building blocks. At this level, just really focus on making sure you're paying your bills bills on time and in full. And here's a pro tip for you, making sure that if you can, paying your bill off before the statement close date. Not the due date, the statement close date, if you want to quick boost your credit score, because the statement close date is the date in which your credit utilization is sent to the bureaus, and then the utilization gets reported. Utilization is high, you'll see a decrease in your score, but the statement close date is typically 20 to 28 days before the due date. That's a pro tip for you. Next up, we have time length. How long should you expect to be at this level? So this is going to vary greatly. Whether you might be an authorized user on your parents' credit card, so you're getting a student card, you might move up a little quicker than, man, my credit is absolutely shot. I have defaulted, I have missed payments, I am in collections. And so there's gonna be a huge range, but I would say you're looking into about 12 months here, which again, some of you might be thinking, 12 months? I got a vacation next month. Time, folks. Time. You will get there, but this is the most important level because it's fundamental, it's building blocks, it's really understanding and learning how to actually either reteach yourself how to use credit responsibly, or for the very first time, you're getting a credit card on your own, you've got a credit limit and you understand how to use it. So I'd say 12 months is the target. It can be shorter, it can be longer. It really just depends on when that you see that credit score start creeping up, because at the next level, there is gonna be minimum credit score requirements. So I've got 3 example cards for you. The Discover It secured card. So what it is you put a $200 deposit in, that deposit then becomes your credit limit. The more you put in, the higher credit limit. Eventually, once you graduate from this card, you'll get your deposit back. What's really nice about the Discover It Secured is that you can get 2% cash back on up to $1,000 of spend every year with the Discover It, and you'll get 1% cash back everywhere else. And the next 2 cards are gonna be student cards. The first student card I'd look at is gonna be the Chase Freedom Student. This card's solid because you get $20 every year for up to 5 years that you're a student, as long as you have grades that are in good standing. And the other card you wanna look at is gonna be the Discover It Student as well. And it's actually pretty similar to Discover It Secured in terms of benefits, where you're going to get 2% cash back on up to $1,000 of total spend in the first year. The only difference being that because this is a student card and not secured card, you don't have to give any sort of deposit. Now moving on to the second level, or what I would call the beginner level. At this level, the credit score you're gonna need at a minimum is going to be 640. And now, what type of cards should you expect? At this level, we're gonna see cards that have no annual fee, and you're gonna start seeing cards that have consistently over 1% cash back. So what's the objective in this category so that we can level up and go to that next tier? We've got about 3. The first one, you are still really honing in and learning responsible credit management, because in the beginner segment, you're gonna get credit limits of maybe 1,000, maybe 1,500, but you have to understand, folks, that's not your money. That is still a short-term unsecured loan. You're borrowing it from the bank. Don't spend it just because it's there. Spend it if you have it. The second thing here is focusing on, hey, all right, we're getting some sign-up bonuses now. Am I getting the most effective and the most efficient sign-up bonus? The other cashback management piece is the fact that now you're going to be getting 2% cashback cards, maybe 3% cashback cards. There are even cards in this category that are offering 5% cashback on certain spend categories. And the third thing to really master before you can go to that next level is, are you optimizing kind of where you're deploying that spend? Because that 5% cashback card I'm talking about is a Citi Custom Cash. That's gonna give you a 5% cashback for your high spend category. Well, what is that category? And then you have cards like, let's say, Chase Freedom Unlimited, which is gonna be 1.5% cashback everywhere. So really starting to hone in and trying to optimize what type of card am I using for what spend category. The time length I expect people to be in this bucket where before they go to the next is probably about 6 to 12 months. This is gonna depend on your ability to A, master the fundamentals, get comfortable with this card set before you move on to the next. Now, at the same time though, some people actually could just stop here and stay here, and that's perfectly fine. But I would say if you wanna move to the next level, I would say 6 to 12 months, you're getting comfortable here, you're understanding the card management piece, you're understanding the cashback piece, you're optimizing for your spend before then you go on to the next tier. As for example cards within the beginner tier, I've got 3. So coming in number 3 is gonna be the Chase Freedom, either the Flex or the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Both these cards are great. The Freedom Flex is gonna give you a $200 sign-up bonus after spending $500 in the first 3 months. The Freedom Unlimited, using my affiliate link down below, you're actually gonna double your cashback in the first year. So instead of 1.5%, you're gonna get 3% cash back on all spend for, I believe, up to $20,000 in total spend. Of course, there's no annual fee. Love the Chase family, love the Chase ecosystem. The second card you wanna take a look at is going to be the Discover It. The bonus is gonna double your cash back in the first year, and you're gonna earn 5% cash back on rotating categories. So the categories could be things like gas or grocery or online shopping, and that's gonna change every 3 months. So you're kind of starting to see a little bit, in this category, you have to keep up to date, right? Like, hey, I've got this card, but the benefits changed a little bit. You want to be able to keep up to date to what that is quarter over quarter. Sometimes it could even be month over month. And the number one card in the beginner category that I would recommend is going to be the Capital One Quicksilver. This card is going to be 1.5% cash back everywhere. And the sign-up bonus for the Capital One Quicksilver is $200 after you spend $500 within the first 3 months. Of course, no annual fee, no foreign transaction fee. And as a pro tip, if you are evaluating beginner tier cards, and obviously they're not one of the 3 I mentioned, 3 things you want to keep in mind. 1, no annual fee. 2, sign-up bonus. 3, some sort of cashback earning that's over 1%. That's it. All right, we're leveling up to the 3rd level. This is what I would call the mid-tier. The minimum credit score around here, you're gonna need at least a 670. And what should you expect in this tier? For one, this is where you're actually going to see annual fees starting to come in. $50, $100, $250 or so. But don't worry, because a lot of these annual fees, in my opinion, are justified given the benefits that the card provides. And on the benefit front, at this category is where we're going to see cards transition from giving just pure a percent of cash back to earning points. And then these points, think of it as kind of currency from all the major banks. Chase, American Express, Capital One, Citi, can then be used to redeem for various benefits, namely travel. And so in this category is where we see travel cards starting to come up a bit. Now, I do want to note, even though there are cards called travel cards, you don't have to be a traveler to actually pull value from the card. If you are a traveler, you'll get that much more value, but you don't have to be a traveler per se, because these cards I think are just A, earning better, but also their points have more flexibility on how you redeem them. And as for objective at this level, is learning how to optimize your credit card points and miles. That's it, because once you optimize it, then you can go and advance to level 4. So when it comes to points and miles, not all of them are made equal, and they're gonna vary based on how you travel, how frequently you travel, who you travel with, and so you could spend a lot of time at this level, because at this level, just to give you an example, let's take a Chase Sapphire Preferred. That's a great kind of mid-tier card. Instead of just earning pure cash back from Chase, you'll earn Chase Ultimate Reward points. The Ultimate Reward points can be transferred then to one of their partners, let's say a hotel partner like Hyatt, or a flight partner such as United, and then you can use that reward chart to book stays or flights. Now, if that all went whoosh, that's okay, because this is where I want you to spend your time to really start mastering how am I deploying my points? Am I getting the best value for my particular travel situation or for my situation overall? And there is no rush to get out of here. I think this is a really good middle ground for a lot of people, because at that next level, the annual fee is gonna get heftier and you're gonna really want a good understanding of how you're going to deploy these points. The second objective here actually is starting to think about what is your ultimate card strategy? Are you gonna go after Chase cards, Amex cards, Citi or Capital One cards? Are you gonna go more hotel specific, more airline specific? At this level, we're gonna really start filling that out because the sign-up bonuses are also going to get higher. At the beginner tier, the sign-up bonuses were $100, $200 bonus. At the mid-tier, you're getting the 60,000 points, 70, 90,000 point sign-up bonus, which easily is $5, $6, $7, $900 worth of value just up front. Now, as for time length at this level, I'd say 3 to 6 months. At this point, you're really good. You've got your solid foundation of credit management. You've optimized your spend, and now you're really optimizing how you want to deploy points. If you're at this level, you're getting comfortable. I mean, you could be out of here in 2-3 months. You can go on to a top tier. But if you're like, hey, listen, I really want to get things settled. I really want to figure it out. I don't know if I want that many cards. Yeah, spend more time. Spend 6, 12 months before you get that next tier. But I'd say 3 to 6 months is a solid sweet spot for people who are really in it and they're really looking to climb. Now, for examples of mid-tier cards at level 3, I've got 2. One is the American Express Gold. Right now, the American Express Gold comes with a sign-up bonus anywhere from 60 to 70,000 points after spending $4K in 6 months. The Gold also will give you 4 points for every dollar that you spend at the grocery store, as well as eating out. You'll get 3 points per dollar spent when you book flights directly with airlines or through Amex Travel, 1 point per dollar spent everywhere else. The card does come with a hefty $250 annual fee. Yikes. But the card also comes with $240 of aggregate dining credits. 120 is a dining credit, 120 comes from Uber Eats. Added together, that's 240. So that 250 annual fee, take up to 240 of credits. Effectively, you're paying $10. The other card that I want you to take a look at is gonna be the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Chase, love Chase. Great ecosystem, love my ultimate reward points from Chase. Sapphire Preferred comes right now with the sign-up bonus of 60,000 points after spending 4K in 3 months. Now, as far as earnings, there's a whole laundry list of them. A couple ones to call out. I like that there's a 3 points per dollar spent for select streaming services, 3 points per dollar spent for online grocery, and 2 points per dollar spent for all travel. The Chase Sapphire Preferred honestly is a great entry mid-tier travel card because you're in that Chase ecosystem. And when you redeem your points through the Chase Ultimate Reward Portal, as a result of having the Sapphire Preferred, you get a 25% bonus. So earlier, I talked about the Chase Freedom as good beginner cards. Well, you take a Chase Freedom, you stack it with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you can actually take your cash back, transfer them as points into the Sapphire Preferred, and redeem for 25% more value. So again, right at this level, we're thinking strategy, we're thinking synergies. How do we build an ecosystem of cards? And that's really what's the most important focus here. In addition, the Chase Sapphire Preferred does come with a $95 annual fee, but you'll get a $50 hotel credit every single year. So you go in and you book hotels, use the card, $50 credit, instead of paying $95, effectively you only pay $45. Interested in either card, guys, feel free to check out in the links below. All right, now that we finished 3 levels, we are on to level 4. And this is what I would categorize as the premium tier of cards. I do want to pause here though, just because these cards are quote unquote premium, by way of having it doesn't really confer status to somebody. All right, because I know people look at these cards, I'll give you an example. One of them is American Express Platinum. They're like, oh my gosh, this card's so luxurious, so premium. Look at me, I'm special. No. You're not, I'm not. Credit cards don't confer that. Well, at least credit cards in this segment don't. They're just a tool like anything else. They're premium because there's a little bit more bells and whistles associated. The credit score you're gonna need is excellent credit. So that's typically around a 740. And what you should expect for cards at this level, 1, a hefty annual fee. $300, $400, $500, $700 is not unheard of. In fact, that's pretty standard at this level. 2, you're gonna get more premium perks. So things like lounge access at an airport where you have free food, free booze, kick up your feet. You're gonna get those benefits from these cards. These cards certainly are gonna have a lot more bells and whistles, so you're really gonna have to be comfortable with the first 3 levels once you are here because there's a ton going on. There's gonna be dining credits, there's gonna be travel credits, there's gonna be incidental credits which you can pull value out of, but you're gonna have to jump through a couple of hoops there. And there's just gonna be credits that you get, whether it's monthly, whether it's quarterly, whether it's biannually. There's a lot thrown at you here. We are at the premium level. So what is the objective at this level? That's an interesting question as I was sitting down and making a video because I have a lot of cards at this level. This is in fact the level that I'm at currently, which is level 4. And I would say the objective is twofold. 1, you want to really obviously have a good understanding of cards. You're really at this level, you're really playing the credit card game, right? You're opening cards, you're getting sign-up bonuses, you're transferring to partners here, you're transferring to partners there. You're doing basically that $20,000 first class flight that I was talking about. At this level, you should have mastered that. You might already be comfortable pulling down one of those redemptions. That's the first level, right? Is really getting in tune with using those credit card points and miles. The second and third objective at this level are 1, earning a lot of money, and 2, spending a ton of money on these cards. That's it. If you want to get to that next level, I'll give you a hint, it's invite only and you're gonna have to show you actually have a lot of money, whether it's invested or whether you're just gonna spend it. That's objectives 2 and 3. So objective 1 at this level is continue doing what you're doing from level 3. There's just no shortcut about it. So as far as time length at this level, it's indefinite. I mean, I've been here for, I don't even know, 6 years or so. I'm just chilling. Now, not that I have a huge desire to get to that next level, but you could be here for the rest of your credit card career. Period. That's it. If you don't meet some of those earn and spend thresholds to level up to level 5. Example cards in this category. You have the American Express Platinum. The next card I want you to take a look at is the Chase Sapphire Reserve. And the number 1 card in this segment is gonna be the Capital One Venture X. Folks, 75,000 points on bonus, 4K spent in 3 months. Okay, 2 points per dollar spent pretty much everywhere. We love that, but this card comes with a $395 annual fee, but you get $400 worth of aggregate travel credits in the first year. $300 travel credit for redemption through the Capital One travel portal, and a $100 anniversary credit. $400 worth of credits, $395 annual fee. You get paid $5 for this card. And it is a premium card because it gets the lounge access, it gets the global entry. It's on the same level as an Amex Platinum, a Chase Sapphire Reserve, but it pays you $5. This card, I would jump on it any given day if you're at this level and looking at a card. All right, folks, we are at the top. After 4 levels, we have cracked it into level 5 in the ultra premium category. At this level, what kind of cards should you expect? 1, invite only. Sorry, you can't apply. They have to invite you for the privilege of applying. And the second thing is you're gonna be hit with a hefty annual fee. Like I'm talking not hundreds, but thousands of dollars a year. The objective at this level, well, since there's no other level, the objective at this level is purely to flex. Like, it's like pulling up and pulling out a card and just showing people that either you make a lot of money, you have a lot of money invested, or you spend a ton of money. That's it. You don't flex at level 4. At level 5 is when you are flexing. You post this on IG, you post this on TikTok, you wanna tell your mom, your grandma, your friends about it. It is just, it's vain, it's at the surface level of just flexing for your buddies. Which, hey, listen, I'm not knocking it. If I get some of these cards, I probably would do the same. The credit score required here is 740. And how long should you expect to stay at this level? I would say until your money runs out. That's how long, until you can't afford to stay at this level anymore. So we've got 2 cards at this level. The first card we have at this level is the JP Morgan Reserve. This card is invite only, and to qualify, you have to have about $10 million invested with a JP Morgan wealth management team. And the reason I do want this card is even though it is a carbon copy of the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you do get United Club membership benefit. So United Club, basically, when you fly United, they have these lounges for business class travelers. But the messed up thing about United is if you earn status with United, which is their top tier status with United, you cannot access United's lounges when you fly domestically. So this card actually gives you access to the United business class lounges all around the country. So that's the only reason I was eyeing the card, because again, from a features and benefits perspective, it's a carbon copy of the Chase Sapphire Reserve, which also means that it's actually not that expensive. But getting in is a whole other story. The closest that I got was someone saying, potentially if I moved $250,000 over to Chase, have them manage it, they could consider it. But even then, that moving the $250,000 over, I mean, their management fees, I think it was like 2 or 3%. It was something where I was like, doesn't make sense because of the fact that I know I'm just paying way too much for this money to be managed. And when I got on the phone and they talked about how they would manage money, they're like, oh yeah, we're taking an active approach. We could beat the stock market. And for me, I'm like, that's kind of a red flag. Like anyone saying they're gonna beat the stock market, that's not it. So I'm gonna keep trying though, but for now, I do not have 10 million with Chase, and I don't see that card in my wallet anytime soon. The next card we have is the American Express Black card, or the Centurion card. This one is a card of lore. This card is not a have 10 million invested with us. This card is actually on spend, and most people think the spend is around $250,000 on an American Express card every year. I am never going to hit that. Period. Now, if I had a business, I could see how people could hit that, but even my business, because it's largely social media, I don't really have a lot of expenses, can't do it. I don't think I'll hit it. And they don't just look for a spend of $250, they look for spend in premium categories is kind of what people say. So you have to be spending money with Amex, you have to show them you're a high potential client, and then they say, okay, you can apply and we'll let you in. And hang on to your horses, because the Black card, oh my gosh, the fees. So, 1, you have to pay a $10,000 initiation fee, just like welcome to the club, pay us 10K. And then the annual fee is $5,000. Whew, so I'm thinking, all right, for $5,000, like this is gonna deliver. It's gonna deliver so many benefits, so many credits. Not at all. It's the exact same thing as American Express Platinum. The difference is, yes, you probably have better services. Yes, their concierge is better. Yes, they can take care of whatever for you, but it's not that you're paying for so many extra services. It's truly a status flex. Like in terms of benefits, like, yeah, like I've perused the forums on Reddit and most people are like, yeah, people that have Black card, like it's just kind of like a Platinum. Truthfully. Yeah, like you might get a couple invitations to an event here, you might get backstage there, but it's nothing to write home about, right? And people are like, oh, but there's no spending limit. Well, technically for most of Amex's charge cards, so the Platinum and the Gold, there is no spending limit. It's based on your spending history and your spending habit. So if you just spend a ton of money, like your limit's gonna go up because again, they're charge cards, not credit cards. This card, the Black card, it is like, it's the flexiest of flex cards because it's not as if it's giving you $5,000 of value. It's just pay us $5,000 and you can say you have a Black card so that you can show everyone how much money that you spend every year with Amex. I mean, it is, again, a flexi flex card. Can't hate it. Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? It's certainly not a card I see on my horizon anytime soon. Of these two, I would say the JP Morgan Reserve is probably more realistic for me for the United front, but then also a quick note on that, I was able to get Star Alliance Gold by flying on United, crediting my miles to Asiana, got United Gold, now I can access the United Club. So actually, now that I think about it, I actually don't really have a reason for the JP Morgan Reserve. Maybe it's one of those I just wanted to get it to say that I was able to get it. But anyway, folks, hey, listen, I appreciate it. That is a wrap on climbing the credit card ladder. As you can see here, at every level, we have certain objectives before we can go on to the next tier. But largely, it's self-serving, right? You want to master the base level before you get to beginner. Beginner, we want to optimize our spend before we get to the mid-tier. The mid-tier, we want to optimize our redemptions before getting to the premium tier. And at the premium tier, you're just spending and earning a lot of money if you want to get to the ultra premium tier. Folks, again, great video. Comments, questions, concerns, drop them down in the section below, and I will catch you all next time. Peace!